Hello and welcome. I am Razel. So I'm going to be talking about the new drop pod. Now when it comes to opinions on this model, it's been very mixed. We have some people saying they absolutely love it, some others saying they absolutely hate it. Unfortunately, when it comes to Games Workshop, these could be the absolute, I wouldn't say they're critics, just the complainers of Games Workshop, the ones that will always say something negative no matter what, or the ones that will always say something positive about Games Workshop, again, no matter what. The drop pod itself is kind of meh. It's whelming. You're not overwhelmed, you're not underwhelmed, it's just that. It's that. But there is things I do not like about it. And the first things first, I've got to be open with this because it's going to colour my opinion anyway. Models like the drop pod, the rhino, and the Arvis lighter are not my favourite. I do not like them. Any form of transport that has minimal fire support or weapons kind of don't really do it for me because it always feels like you're putting your models in a box and you're putting your army in a box which is going to be shot at. Well, with drop pod they drop, it's deep strike, they remove out straight away. So it doesn't even have that extra armor bonus for your troops. And so when I use my one drop pod, and the only one, it's always to drop a very quick light infantry bothering turret. Nothing else. I don't drop pods with any troops in them. And no, there's nothing in the rules that says it has to be full when it drops. You can put a 5-man 0 in it, 5-man, 10-man, whatever. So it's just been, a cheap turret, and that's it. So here's the thing: when it comes to this model, they drop the weapons. There's no weapons on it. Again, this brings it down in my opinion. With it has no offensive capability of what I can see. Kind of makes it even worse because you're just going to be dropping your models straight into the middle of the field without the protection of a tank or extra armor, which you would have been doing anyway, but there's nothing there to back it up. Yes, you can charge on disembarking, of course, and if you're playing Horus Heresy, this might not be the best thing for you if you're playing certain legions who can literally react to you charging them. So in the end, you're losing a weapon to, just charging closer, but get shot the hell out with by some legion's reaction. The other thing is, there's 2 in a box. Now, this has been a Horus Heresy thing for a while. Putting 2 in a box, usually. Like 2 squads of Terminators or Tactical Marines, or there's the 2 light Sentinels for the Solar Auxilia. Oh, sorry about that. But, there's a common thread in Horus Heresy to be 2 units in a box, for the most part. I know things like the Command Squad isn't, viable for this, and of course the jet bikes as well. So it does feel like this was more designed for the Horus Heresy crowd rather than the 40k crowd. But I could be wrong, because it's now Primaris sized. Of course it's going to be Primaris sized. It's 40k. I'm not going to bitch on about being, Primaris sized, because it is what it is. It's just an upscale, and they're probably going to do that with the Grey Knights in general. I think they're just going to upscale the Grey Knights, and that'll be that. Then, here's the other thing. The price. If it's more than £70 when it's announced, the price is announced. Personally, if you want drop pods, I would go out and buy the old model and save yourself some money. And that's it. Nothing else, nothing more. Just buy the old model, especially if you're playing Horus Heresy, and save yourself a couple of quid. Then, when it comes to the model itself, it's not a bad looking model. Like I said, it's not a bad looking model. The kit itself it's a drop pod. It is what it is. It looks like a drop pod. There's been no phenomenal changes to the actual vehicle design. However, it does have a lot of tactical rocks. I mean, of all the things to put on a model, tactical rocks is kind of the one thing you don't want to put on a vehicle, because without the weaponry and the tactical rocks, it's just a terrain piece more or less now. And I've heard people say this, and I absolutely agree with it. It's a terrain piece. And finally, when we talk about the model itself, is that it no longer closes up. It's a piece which you put on the tabletop as is. The doors don't close or open, and that's it. Now, in my opinion, this comes with a transportation problem, because if you are magnetizing your models to put in, you've got the height of a drop pod, which is kind of about shoulder to the Christoris knife. But the base is so much bigger, it's going to be harder to put it in. Whereas with the old drop pod, you could fold it up and put it on its side, and it took up a lot less space. However, it seems this one is going to be a space hog in your model box for transportation. And you can't put it sideways either, because, well, it's going to be up and around and probably tip over and probably break some models that way as well. So the transportation of this model is going to be very, very difficult. And that's kind of a thing. It's kind of a weird one, because the model doesn't look bad. I'm not going to say it looks bad. It is a drop pod, and it looks like a drop pod, but there's been so many odd creative ideas towards this model, which seems kind of baffling to me. It's like I said, the terrain, it feels like a piece of terrain. There's no offensive capability for it that I can see. And that is, they got to write special rules just for... Yes, I know they wrote special rules for tanks, but most of them are, well, actually, mostly just the same. And weapons. This is special rules of how to disembark it, where you can disembark from, where you measure from, etc., etc. I mean, common sense would say you would measure from, the doorway, where they come out. That would be where you measure from them. Where, like the old one, where the doors would fold up, that would be the measurement, because it's coming out the door. But if they're going to have to write like a page of rules just to make you understand how to disembark this particular drop pod, again, it just seems weirdly designed and not really that thought out. It's just like, oh, what do we need to make new now? Why don't we make the drop pod? Okay, why? Most of, how can I put it? I don't use a lot of models like this. I do have a drop pod. This seems, like I said, goes with the Arvis Lighter and the Rhino. And it just seems that they could have put their efforts somewhere more efficient for the player and better for customers in general. But the box of two dreadnoughts, the box of two drop pods, always has me feeling that Games Workshop don't quite know what to do with it either. That they are stuck with that they had to make something new, but they didn't know what to do, so they just thought, drop pod, we can just put rocks on it and take away its weapon and make it and upscale it slightly, and bing bang boom, we have the new model. So basically, my opinion on this is like I said, it's just meh. I'm whelmed by it. I am just apathetic. It's just something that exists. It's something that exists. That's it. I will never be able to find a use for this model. And I play fast armies. I deep strike a lot in my games, because that's the armies I play. I play fast armies, so deep strike's a major part of my gameplay strategy. Yet something like this, which should work for me, just doesn't rock my boat. It doesn't do anything like that. Anyway, so what are your thoughts on this model? I'll see you all in the next one, and I hope you have a lovely day. There is a case, of course, with a link to Whaling Games if you wish to purchase the previous model drop pod, save yourself some money before it drops. That's down there, up to 20% off. I think it's like 28 quid there. I think it's about 28 quid. I know it's about, yeah, it's 28 quid, I think. Anyway, and of course, that means there will be no delivery being over £20, no delivery fee for being over £20. Then there is, and you get up to, an extra 1% off if you use the points, and up to 20% off all the other wargaming as well. There's Forbidden Planet as well for your comics, DVDs, mangas. There's also my comics as well. That's kind of cool. And my merchandise, those links are down below. There's also Skyforge. Never forget Skyforge. And finally, Patreon, because business. Bye-bye.